Hi everyone, and welcome to our 5-minute webinar series where we try to cover important topics in the industry in roughly 5 minutes. So we've been covering a series of videos here in which we analyze our recent security benchmarking report on how security has changed in 2020. In our first segment, we basically set up the overall state of the industry and how the market's changed in the last year. Part 2 really gets into the data and we look at some of the impact on operations. So let's dive right in. Well, before we jump right in, let's recap on the survey data. Now, this report surveyed a sample set of roughly 300 security guard firms within the U.S., ranging in size and scope to accurately represent the industry at large. Provided us a nice, reliable sample data set to which draw analysis from. We covered this at length in the part 1. Just to kind of go over it with you right now, majority of our companies fell in line with the industry metric. They billed about 25,000 hours or less a month, and the majority had about under 10 clients. This kind of accurately represents what the market trends go to. Out of the 8,000 security guard firms in the United States, roughly 87% are actually under 250 guards. So with that said, let's go ahead and let's jump into some of the data. So the first quarter of 2020 will forever be ingrained in the collective memory of the world, right? Beyond the physical, emotional tolls that impacted the United States and around the world, there's been a significant economic impact. When businesses started shutting down, security guard firms were not immune, especially those with certain client bases. Firms that specialize in servicing events, concerts, churches, and schools felt a larger impact on their business than those that protected essential industries such as healthcare, supermarkets, and utilities. But just how much impact did the pandemic have on these businesses? Well, the first and most relevant metric is revenue. So within our sample set, 84% of the guard firms we surveyed said that their revenue was affected by COVID-19. Of that 84% of those firms affected, they saw a staggering average of 39% drop in their revenue. As with many industries, the pandemic had a difficult financial impact, requiring physical security companies to adapt or risk losing their business entirely. Now, beyond revenue, as we all know, security firms are driven by the number of clients and client work contracted to really ensure profitability. So we examined how the pandemic impacted client turnover rates. Of those we surveyed, 77% say they had some level of client turnover. Now, on average, these companies said they experienced a 33% turnover rate to their client base, indicating a cascading effect. Clients who were forced to shut down also felt an economic pinch. Many temporarily or permanently cut ties with their security services that were no longer required. So as a result, we saw our industry become a casualty of the need to reduce expense in order to survive. Another consequence of client turnover is the loss of your workforce. Employee turnover, like many other industries, saw a dramatic drop during the early stages of the pandemic. We went from a record low unemployment in 2019 to the highest unemployment rate in the history of the country. For the physical security industry, 87% of our respondents said they experienced some level of employee turnover, with an average of about 34% for each of these businesses. Now, among these negative trends, there were some positives in other areas. So, for example, security guard firms that were able to maintain their operations actually won new or expanded existing contracts with special COVID-19 related work. These included things like adding additional guards to supermarkets for retail outlets, or protecting essential businesses or hospitals, or providing added security at testing facilities, and other short-term work. So 1 out of 10 of our respondents said they actually picked up some special work, with an average 37% increase in special work compared to prior years. And with that, my 5 minutes are up. So stay tuned for part 3, where we're going to continue to analyze the data and really explore the top challenges facing our industry. Now, if you're interested in downloading the full report, you can do so in the link below or visit Thinkcurity for some great information on the security industry. Thank you again and have a great day.